The Legend of Jigong, Chapter 57.
We are on the road outside Linnan, which was the capital during the Southern Song Dynasty.
Yep, the Imperial Center.
And it's an overcast day.
Yeah.
But the author is very, very specific about the weather. This isn't, it's not like a torrential downpour that just washes out the roads and forces everyone to a dead stop immediately.
Yeah, it's much more insidious than that.
Yeah, it's that fine, persistent, freezing drizzle. Like the kind of rain that just makes travel absolutely miserable.
Right, it just seeps into your bone.
Exactly. And it slowly, just methodically, forces people to abandon whatever plans they had and seek shelter. It basically operates as this great equalizer.
It really does. The rain doesn't care if you're a millionaire or a murderer, you know?
Exactly. It forces this incredible domino effect of intertwined destinies into just a single enclosed space.
It's a pressure cooker. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And to understand the explosive nature of who ends up in this tavern, we have to start with the people who are actively, fighting the current.
The ones trying to force things to happen.
Right, the ones trying to impose their own will on the world. So we're introduced to two men who are on this deeply personal mission, Zheng Shang and Ma Jun.
Okay.
And to really appreciate their frustration in this chapter, you have to understand the sheer scale of their worldly power. Like, the text paints this incredibly vivid picture of Zheng Shang.
Oh, he's massive.
He is a mountain of a man. The text says he stands 9 feet tall with incredibly broad shoulders.
Wow.
Yeah. And he has this dark, almost blue-black face, heavy brows, wide eyes, a high-bridged nose, and this really strong square mouth. He is literally known as the Heavenly King of Fengshan Street.
Okay, but I have to pause on that description for a second. Because to a modern reader, if you hear about a 9-foot-tall guy with a blue-black face, that sounds like a literal monster.
It sounds terrifying.
Yeah, something out of a horror movie.
Okay.
But in the context of traditional Chinese literature, that kind of physiognomy communicates something completely different, doesn't it? Like, we aren't supposed to be scared of him.
No, exactly. We are meant to be in awe of his moral gravity.
Ah, moral gravity. I like that.
Yeah. So in traditional Chinese literary aesthetics, physical appearance is just inextricably linked to character alignment and inner nature. It's a concept rooted in Miangxiang, or face reading. So a dark face, wide eyes, and an imposing stature like Zheng Jiang's, those immediately signal to the contemporary reader that this is a man of immense martial power.
Got it.
It signals fierce loyalty and unyielding righteousness. You're supposed to think of figures like Guan Yu or Zhang Fei from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Oh, okay. So he's like the ultimate good guy enforcer.
Precisely. Zheng Shang is an enforcer of justice. He's a pillar of his community. I mean, you don't get the title Heavenly King in the capital city by being a pushover, right?
No, definitely not.
He commands absolute, unquestioned authority.
And then right beside this absolute unit of a man is his sworn brother, Ma Jun. And the visual contrast here is just stark.
It's night and day.
Yeah. Ma Jun is dressed as a martial scholar. So he's elegant, he's handsome, he's wearing the refined clothing of the educated elite. But his nickname is the white-faced Zhuanzu.
Which is such a great nickname.
It really is. And for anyone who might not catch that historical reference, Zhuanzu was this incredibly deadly ancient assassin.
Right.
He was famous for hiding a dagger inside a roasted fang to kill a king.
Yeah, the fish assassin.
Exactly. So beneath this incredibly handsome, scholarly exterior is a highly lethal operative. Yet, despite possessing all this lethal capability, Ma Jun's current motivation is just remarkably vulnerable.
Yeah, it completely grounds him.
Right. He's driven entirely by filial piety.
Mm-hmm.
He's just out here seeking a cure for his blind mother.
And that creates the core tension of their arc right there. Because Ma Jun came all the way from Changshan County just to visit Zheng Zhang, only to discover that Zheng's mother, who had also been blind, was miraculously cured by this wandering monk Jigong.
Right. So Ma Jun's logic is pretty straightforward at this point.
Completely. Find the monk, cure my mother. It's an honorable quest, so they set off to do it. But here is the narrative brilliance of the text. It completely strips these two powerful men of their agency.
That's the part that I find so fascinating. Because, I mean, these are guys who can basically solve 99% of their problems with either their immense wealth or their fists, right?
Exactly. They are problem solvers.
Yeah, but they go to Lingyan Temple, which
Yeah.
is this famous, highly bureaucratic monastery where Jigong is supposedly based, and they ask the monks where he is.
And the monks just consult the schedule.
Right. The monks essentially check the ledger and are like, oh, sorry, the prefect of Lingen summoned him to Kunshin County for a medical consultation.
Yeah, he's out on a house call.
So these two absolute titans of the Jianghu try to track him using, official channels, municipal schedules, and temple rumors.
Yes.
And they fail miserably.
They just keep missing him.
Over and over.
And that's because they are trying to apply bureaucratic logic to a divine force.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
This is a classic literary device, the delayed encounter. The narrative is deliberately frustrating Zheng Xiang and Ma Jian to make a philosophical point here.
Which is?
By making them fail through standard, logical methods, the text emphasizes that encounters with the enlightened, they only happen on the universe's schedule.
Right.
Qigong represents a force that operates completely outside of ledgers, appointments, or, aristocratic summons.
But wait, I have to ask, isn't that just a really convenient plot device to keep the story moving? I mean, reading it, it's incredibly frustrating.
It is frustrating.
It's like trying to track down a highly demanded rogue doctor in a world without cell phones. You're just relying on rumors. Why construct this elaborate game of cat and mouse if the end result is just them bumping into him in a random tavern anyway?
Well, it's not just a plot device. It's essentially a lesson in necessary humility for these characters.
Humility. For the Heavenly King.
Exactly. Their wealth and their martial prowess mean absolutely nothing when trying to pin down enlightenment. The universe is telling them that they cannot command a miracle.
They can't buy it or force it.
Right. They have to surrender to the flow of events. And that flow, quite literally the freezing rain, forces them to stop their active, aggressive searching, abandon their travel plans, and just simply walk into a mundane roadside tavern to get warm.
And the irony is just thick here. They walk into this tavern, totally exhausted and defeated, only to hear this massive commotion coming from the back of the room.
Yeah, a huge scene.
Zheng Xiang looks over, and there he is. The man they've spent weeks tearing the countryside apart looking for is just sitting right there.
Just hanging out.
But, and this is the best part, Qigong isn't meditating. He's not imparting some deep wisdom. He is loudly and honestly, obnoxiously complaining to anyone who will listen that he's being oppressed and bullied by a terrified tavern waiter.
The tonal whiplash there is very intentional. We shift from this high-minded, honorable quest for a miraculous medical cure into an almost slapstick scenario of a customer refusing to pay his bill.
It's so funny. Zheng Xiang rushes over, and he's being incredibly respectful around. He asks who would dare bully the great master.
Yeah, he's ready to fight for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Qigong points at this trembling waiter and complains that he finished his meal, but the waiter won't let him leave.
Which is when Zheng Xiang, acting as the voice of basic worldly logic, just laughs and says, "Master, if you eat someone's food, they want money. That's not bullying."
Yeah, like that's just how restaurants work.
Right. He says, "Why didn't you grow any money when you left the house?" And this is where the text introduces two local law enforcement officers, Headman Chai and Du, who just happen to be in the tavern.
Right.
And Chai delivers the punchline that completely shatters our understanding of Qigong's financial situation. He reveals that Qigong actually left the house that morning with a massive fortune of exactly 200 taels of silver.
Okay, to appreciate the sheer absurdity here, we have to look at the economic reality of 200 taels in the southern Song capital.
It's astronomical.
Right, that is not pocket change. We are talking about the equivalent of liquidating a modern mid-sized corporate asset.
Oh, absolutely.
It's enough to buy estates, to live in absolute luxury for years. It's a staggering amount of wealth for anyone to carry around, let alone a wandering ascetic monk.
And think about the physical weight of it, too. You don't just put 200 taels of silver in your pocket.
No.
You are lugging around a heavy, highly visible sack of precious metal. But according to the headman, Qigong gave every single ounce of it away to charity before he even reached the tavern.
He dispersed a literal fortune.
Exactly. And he didn't save a single copper coin to buy himself lunch. He zeroes out his net worth, walks into a commercial establishment, eats a meal, and then claims oppression when he's asked to pay.
I mean, it creates a deeply uncomfortable situation for everyone involved, especially the waiter.
Yeah, the poor waiter's just trying to do his job.
Right. He's just incredibly manipulative, knowing he has rich, powerful friends like Zheng Xiang who will inevitably show up, bail him out, and pick up the tab.
That is precisely the tension the author wants you to feel. It violates every societal ethic we hold regarding personal responsibility.
Totally.
But if we look at it from a Buddhist philosophical framework, Jigong's actions highlight a radical, almost terrifying level of non-attachment.
Okay.
Think about it. Most people practice conditional charity. We give our excess, but we always keep a reserve just in case.
Right, we maintain our safety net.
Exactly. Jigong fundamentally rejects the concept of the safety net.
Because keeping a safety net implies a lack of faith in the cosmic order.
Precisely. He operates on absolute faith in karmic balance. He doesn't hoard resources because he views himself merely as a conduit for the universe's wealth, not an owner of it.
Wow. Okay.
And he's highly self-aware about it, too. When Zhang Jiang points out the sheer luck of his arrival, Jigong cheekily replies, "Well, if you hadn't come, I wouldn't have eaten."
He just admits it.
He does. He acknowledges the absurdity. In his worldview, the universe functions as an active balancing mechanism. If he empties himself to help the needy, the universe will inevitably provide a patron, in this case, the heavenly king of Fengshan Street, to balance the immediate physical ledger.
I mean, it's extreme trust in providence, but it definitely requires a patron with deep pockets to clean up the mess.
Definitely.
But, Zheng Jiang doesn't mind at all. He happily pays the bill. He's just thrilled to have finally found his miracle worker. So they order fresh dishes, they pour the wine, and it's this really warm, harmonious reunion. The filial sons have their monk, the monk has his patron, and inside the tavern, the chaos of the world seems to have paused.
But the tavern is a crossroads, right? It's a liminal space. That warmth is entirely temporary.
Yeah, it doesn't last.
Not at all, because just as this narrative thread of honorable men resolves itself, the curtain at the door lifts again, and the genre is about to shift violently from a philosophical comedy into a tense, high-stakes thriller.
And it's entirely driven by a different kind of wealth.
Exactly.
So we are shifting focus to what we should probably call the anatomy of a Song Dynasty scam.
I like that.
Yeah, because two new people walk out of the rain. And the visual contrast between them is jarring, and it tells us everything we need to know about their power dynamic immediately.
It really does.
First, we have a young man named Gao Guangrui. He is dressed like a really refined scholar. He's got a blue silk head wrap, a bright blue robe, white socks, cloud-patterned shoes.
The cloud-patterned shoes are a great detail.
Yeah. He looks incredibly wealthy, deeply sheltered, and completely out of place in a rough, mud-tracked roadside tavern.
And Gao Wanggrui is carrying an immense, crushing psychological burden that makes him uniquely vulnerable in the specific environment.
Right.
The text provides a highly specific profile of his background. He hails from Longyu County, where his family runs a massive, highly successful money exchange business.
Like ancient bankers.
Exactly. But the critical detail is his position within that family structure. He is the sole male heir to 3 entire branches of his family. His father and his 2 uncles have no other sons.
Oh, man. The pressure of that is hard to overstate for a modern audience. Because in traditional Chinese society, the continuation of the male line to perform ancestor worship isn't just a familial expectation.
Right, sacred duty.
Failing to produce an heir means failing generations of ancestors.
It is the ultimate social and spiritual failure. To ensure this doesn't happen, his family has literally arranged for him to have 3 wives. So the inheritance of this massive banking fortune, the spiritual continuation of 3 lineages, all of it hinges entirely on which of these wives bears him a son. He is walking around with the fate of an entire micro-dynasty balancing on his shoulders. He is the ultimate sheltered asset.
And currently, he's apprenticing at his uncle's silk shop in the capital. But he is absolutely not supposed to be out on the road in the freezing rain today.
No, this is not planned.
He's rushing home because his psychological state has just completely fractured. He had a terrifying, really vivid nightmare that his grandmother died.
Yeah, it really shook him.
It spooked him so badly that he completely ignored his uncle's warnings about the dangers of travel, grabbed his funds, and just hit the road in a blind panic.
And we really must note the economics of his travel here. His uncle gave him 10 taels of silver for expenses, and he already had over 20 taels of his own.
So he's got over 30.
Right. He is carrying upwards of 30 taels of silver openly on the road. Now, earlier we established that 200 taels is a corporate-level fortune.
Right.
But 30 taels is still an enormous, life-changing amount of money for an average person at that time. It makes him a massive, glowing target in the Jianghu.
He's wealthy, he's sheltered, he's emotionally compromised by this nightmare, and he is carrying a literal fortune. He's the perfect mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which brings us to the predator who walked through the tavern door right behind him, Wang Yi. And when the author introduces Wang Yi, he doesn't just call him ugly. He builds this terrifying psychological profile using the language of animalistic physiognomy.
The description is so striking. Wang Yi has a pale, greenish-white complexion. He has what the text calls chicken fight eyebrows.
What does that mean?
It means they angle sharply downwards, giving him a constant aggressive scowl.
Oh, got it.
And he has seagull eyes, implying this shifty, predatory, unblinking gaze. But the summary description is what really cements his nature. The text says he has a rabbit head, snake eyes, turtle back, and snake waist.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because, again, to a modern reader, a turtleback and a snake waist sounds like a bizarre, almost comical cartoon villain.
It does sound weird to us.
Right. But in the context of Jianggu face reading, this is a glaring, visceral red flag, isn't it?
Absolutely. It screams non-human malevolence. The snake eyes and waist suggest venomous intent, flexibility in morals, and just slithering deception.
Shivers.
Yeah. And the turtleback implies a hunched, creeping, unnatural posture, someone who strikes from a place of hidden defense. From the very second Ji Gong looks at this man from across the tavern, he knows with absolute, piercing certainty that this is a doubly evil person.
And the scam that Wang Yi is running on Gao is just brilliant in its cruelty. The narrative flashes back to a food stall just before they reach the tavern to show how Wang Yi sank his hooks in.
Yeah, the setup.
Gao, being a sheltered guy with way more money than sense, sees an old white-haired beggar at the stall and just gives him a whole solid piece of silver. He doesn't toss him a few coppers like a normal person. He flashes massive wealth in the public space.
Which is so dangerous. It is an act of performative, naive charity from someone who fundamentally doesn't understand the lethal economy of the world outside the city walls.
Exactly.
And Wang Yi, the predator, is just watching from the shadows.
So Wang Yi approaches Gao, and his opening move is a textbook vulnerability exploit. It is literally the ancient equivalent of a modern social engineering hack.
Oh, absolutely.
Wang Yi doesn't threaten him. He poses as an authority figure, warning Gao about a threat. Like an IT security guy telling you your account is compromised.
That's the perfect way to look at it.
He tells Gao, you shouldn't have given that old man silver. He isn't a beggar, he's a Kaipan-zi.
Right, and Kaipan-zi is specific underworld slang for a scout. Someone who spots wealthy, unprotected targets and reports back to the mountain bandits for an ambush.
Wang Yi weaponizes Gao's own act of charity against him. He turns a good deed into a source of immediate, paralyzing terror. He tells Gao the bandits are coming for him right now.
He creates the panic.
Yes. And then, having created that panic, Wang Yi offers the solution. He claims to be a fellow townsman from Longyu County. He says, it's dangerous out here, but we are brothers from the same dirt. Travel with me and I will protect you. He plays the savior.
It is a masterful manipulation of Gao's isolation. Gao understands the complex rules of his family's inheritance politics back home, but he is entirely ignorant of the Jianghu.
Completely naive.
Wang Yi isolates him emotionally by inducing panic and then presents himself as the only safe harbor. Gao's anxiety over his family, fueled by that nightmare of his grandmother's death, makes him desperate for an ally. He isn't thinking critically at all. He is operating purely on the adrenaline of fear.
And it works flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Gao clings to Wang Yi, they travel together, the rain hits, and they duck into a roadside tavern. But here is the fatal flaw in Wang Yi's operation.
The one thing he didn't plan for.
Right. He walks into the tavern, and the enlightened, eccentric monk Ji Gong is sitting right there. And Ji Gong doesn't say a word. He just stares at Wang Yi.
Unblinking.
Yeah, the text knows he looks at him with unblinking eyes. This intensely perceptive monk, who is flanked by the heavenly king Zhang Jiang and a lethal martial artist, is just burning a hole through the predator.
Wang Yi might be a monster, but he possesses acute survival instincts. He senses the danger radiating from Ji Gong's table immediately.
He knows he's a mate.
He realizes that whatever deception he is running, it will not survive the scrutiny of those men. He needs to get his prey out of the light and into the dark immediately.
So Wang Yi whispers to Gao, let's go drink somewhere else. And he rushes the terrified scholar back out into the freezing rain. They leave the relative safety of the town behind.
Away from the crowd.
Yeah. They walk until they are completely isolated, surrounded by nothing but a dense, dark, rain-soaked forest. There is no one around. The civilized world has officially vanished.
The transition here is stark and it's terrifying. The veneer of the helpful fellow townsman evaporates the moment they are secluded. Wang Yi abruptly stops walking and just orders Gao to halt.
And Gao is confused,
Yeah.
right? He's asking what they're doing. And Wang Yi drops the act with a line that is just dripping with sarcasm and psychological cruelty. He tells Gao, "You've arrived in your grandmother's house." He is openly mocking the very nightmare that drove Gao onto the road in the first place. He is twisting the knife.
It's so sadistic. Then Wang Yi formally introduces his true self. He reveals his underworld moniker. He says, "Have you heard of me? I am the green sprout god."
Okay, I want to dig deep into that nickname for a second. Because on the surface, green sprout god sounds agricultural, right? Almost like a benign nature spirit. But the logic behind it is actually horrifying.
It is deeply agricultural, but applied to human life. Wang Yi explains the metaphor to Gao. He says, "When the green crops don't grow, I have no road. But when the green crops sprout, I have food to eat."
Wow.
What he is describing is the seasonal economics of banditry. During the harsh winter, when roads are impassable and no one is traveling, he starves. But in the spring and summer, when the crops grow and wealthy merchants and scholars hit the roads, they become his harvest. He views innocent human beings not as people, but as seasonal crops waiting to be reaped for their silver.
It completely strips away Gao's humanity. He isn't a person, he's a yield. And then Wang Yi lays out his operational policy. He demands all the silver, but he doesn't stop there. He demands all of Gao's clothes. And then he calmly states that he is going to kill him.
Gao is completely unequipped to process this reality. He tries to negotiate using the logic of the civilized world.
He's still playing by city rules.
Right. He pleads, "We are fellow townsmen, take the silver, just spare my life." He thinks there's still a social contract in place.
But Wang Yi's justification for the murder is what makes him such a terrifying villain. It's not a crime of passion. It's coldly rational.
Pure logic.
Yeah, he laughs and says, "I never leave survivors. If I let you live today, tomorrow you'll be safe in the city, you'll point a finger at me, and you'll have me arrested for highway robbery. I'm not giving you the chance."
It's chilling.
I have to say, this feels terrifyingly modern. He is treating murder like a grim corporate compliance policy. It is literally risk management through homicide. No loose ends.
It is the absolute triumph of pragmatism over morality. Wang Yi isn't killing out of anger. He is executing a preventative administrative measure to ensure his own future safety and operational security.
God, that's dark.
It highlights the terrifying reality of the Jianghu. Once you step off the civilized road and into the woods, the laws of the magistrate, the familial connections, the wealth, none of it applies. The only law is the law of superior violence.
So we watch Gao go through this agonizing real-time emotional collapse. He goes from offering the silver to begging on his knees in the mud to literally asking, "Can I please just keep one pair of pants?"
He's lost everything.
He's offering to surrender his dignity, his wealth, his entire legacy, just to keep his heartbeat. But Wang Yi is relentless. He even threatens to hack Gao to pieces if he doesn't take the clothes off carefully, because bloody clothes sell for less money on the black market.
The cruelty is staggering. He is actively optimizing his profit margins on a murder victim while the victim is still breathing.
And it's at this exact agonizing moment when Gao realizes that negotiations are completely, utterly over, that something in the sheltered scholar just snaps.
He hits rock bottom.
He sees the heavy blade. He realizes he is going to die in the mud. And the text notes he is filled with a sudden surge of pure rage. He reaches down, grabs a rock, and lunges at the killer.
The instinct to survive.
Put yourself in Gao's shoes for a second. At what exact second do you stop begging and decide to pick up the rock? It's that primal shift from civilized victim to cornered animal.
It is his first, last, and only act of genuine resistance. But the narrative is brutally realistic here. It doesn't reward his sudden bravery with some cinematic victory.
No, it doesn't work.
It emphasizes the theme of absolute power asymmetry. Wang Yi isn't remotely threatened by the rock. He finds it hilarious.
He literally laughs out loud at him.
He mocks Gao using two highly specific cultural idioms. He says Gao is moving earth in front of the Tai Sui, which means digging dirt in front of the god of the year.
Like angering a deity?
Exactly. It's an act of supreme foolish disrespect to a vastly superior astrological and mythological power. And then he says it's like plucking a tiger's whiskers. He is flatly telling Gao, "Your resistance is cute, but it is entirely futile. You are a rabbit trying to bite a wolf."
So Wang Yi raises his heavy blade. He is about to bring it down and execute this helpless, terrified young man right there in the freezing rain.
The tension is incredible.
It's at its absolute peak, And then the execution is interrupted, and honestly, it is an entirely unexpected and somehow deeply comical rescue.
Yeah, it really is. Just as the blade is falling, a voice booms out from the dark western side of the forest. The voice yells, "Hizi, rang wo!" which is Jianghu slang translating to, "Comrade, leave him to me," or "Step aside."
Wang Yi stops. He turns around, and out from the dense trees step two men. And we, the audience, know exactly who these men are because they are tied directly back to our eccentric monk Jigong.
The narrative threads are pulling tight.
Yes,
Right.
we're reintroduced to Lei Ming and Chen Liang.
But we have to establish their context here, because the reason these two specific men are in this specific forest at this exact moment is incredibly humiliating for them.
It really is.
These are not noble, wandering knights patrolling the woods for justice. They are famous, hardened, deeply dangerous outlaws. But earlier that very day, they made the mistake of crossing Jigong.
And Jigong, being a magical trickster who completely refuses to play by standard martial arts rules, didn't fight them.
No, he didn't need to.
He used a Taoist binding spell to completely paralyze them right in the middle of the road.
Just froze them in place.
And then, to add profound insult to injury, he threatened to summon magical scorpions to sting them while they couldn't move.
They were utterly terrified. The text specifically notes that these hardened killers were trembling with fear. As soon as Jigong wandered far enough away for the magic to fade, they didn't draw their weapons to seek revenge.
No way.
They ran for their lives. They just wanted to put as much distance between themselves and the magical monk as physically possible. They ran blindly into this forest. The freezing rain started pouring down, and they found a massive, hollowed-out, dead willow tree.
Right, the willow tree.
They crawled inside it to hide from the rain, shivering, nursing their bruised egos, and just trying to regain their composure.
They are essentially hiding in a tree, traumatized by magical scorpions, probably cursing Jigong's name to the heavens when they hear Wang Yi and Gao Guangrui arguing nearby.
Talk about right place, right time.
Yeah, they sit in the dark and eavesdrop on the entire extortion and murder plot.
The visual contrast of these two saviors is as stark as the pairs we met earlier in the tavern.
Oh, for sure.
Lei Ming is the classic terrifying bandit archetype. He has a massive head, a short, thick neck, a blue-tinted face, a bright red beard, and hair actively growing out of his ears.
Ew.
He looks like a demon from hell. His underworld moniker is Wind and Cloud Smoke.
He sounds like a guy you do not want to meet in a dark alley, let alone a dark, isolated forest in the rain.
Absolutely. And standing right next to him is Chen Liang, who is his exact opposite. Chen Liang is dressed in a bright blue jacket, and the text describes him as a handsome, distinguished figure.
So he looks more like the victim.
Right, he looks like a refined scholar, much like Dao Guangrui. But his nickname is the Holy Hand White Ape, which implies incredible agility, unmatched thievery skills, and high-level martial arts mastery.
Okay, so these two highly capable outlaws step out of the shadows to confront Wang Yi. And Wang Yi, immediately realizing he is severely outmatched, tries to play underworld politics.
He tries to network.
Yeah, he looks at them, squints through the rain, and recognizes them. Their reputations precede them. He says, "I know who you are. You are Uncle Lei Ming, the Wind and Cloud Smoke, and Third Master Chen Liang, the Holy Hand White Ape."
He is desperately trying to establish a professional rapport. He uses that term, hizi, the Jianghu slang for comrade or partner.
He's trying to be part of the club.
He's attempting to invoke outlaw solidarity. He's saying, hey, we're all wolves here. We all operate outside the magistrate's law. We're in the same fraternity. He fully expects professional courtesy among thieves.
And Lei Ming's reaction to this assumption is so viscerally violent and honestly kind of hilarious. He is so deeply, personally offended by the comparison. He glares at Wang Yi and unleashes a string of vicious curses.
He just lets him have it.
Wang Yi tries to backpedal, groveling, saying, "You are the grandfathers, I'm just a junior in the game." But Lei Ming isn't having any of it. He says, "I heard every word you said to that kid. Bring me the silver. All of it."
And Wang Yi, recognizing superior force, complies. He hands over Gao's 30 taels. But Lei Ming pushes further. He demands, "Now give me the silver from your own money belt." Wang Yi empties his pockets. Then Lei Ming says, "Now take off your clothes."
He is turning Wang Yi's exact cruel extortion script right back on him. It's pure, uncut poetic justice, delivered by a man with a blue face and a red beard.
It's extremely satisfying to read.
But I have to ask, are they really acting out of a sense of pure justice? Or are Lei Ming and Chen Liang just deeply humiliated guys kicking the dog? Like they just got mentally broken by Jigong, and now they're taking it out on the first guy weaker than them.
It's actually a mix of both, and that's where the moral complexity of the Jianghu really shines. Why is Lei Ming so enraged by being called a comrade? It reveals the highly stratified moral hierarchy of the ancient underworld.
Okay, break that down for us.
From the outside, the civilized world lumps all criminals together as scum. But within the Jianghu, there are strict tiers and boundaries. Lei Ming and Chen Liang view themselves as righteous outlaws, men who possess martial virtue. They might steal from corrupt officials, they live by a strict code of honor, and they right wrongs that the official bureaucratic law ignores.
Okay, so they have a Robin Hood complex.
Exactly. Wang Gui, on the other hand, represents the absolute lowest form of parasitic scum in their eyes. He is a coward who uses deception to prey on the weak, the sheltered, and the innocent.
Right, he doesn't fight fairly.
He doesn't engage in honorable combat at all. He slaughters defenseless travelers like livestock. For Wang Yi to claim they are brothers in arms is a deep, intolerable insult to Lei Ming's entire self-image and code of ethics.
And Wang Yi makes one final fatal mistake here. After being stripped of his wealth and his clothes, he pleads one last time, "Master, please don't do this. We are Heezy. We are comrades."
And that is the final straw. Lei Ming screams, "Bullshit." He steps forward, draws his blade in a blinding flash, and violently chops off one of Wang Yi's ears.
It's brutal. Just brutal.
It is brutal, but it's not random violence. Severing the ear is not just about inflicting physical pain. It is a permanent physical rejection of being placed in the same moral category.
Leaving a mark.
It's about boundary maintenance in a criminal subculture. Lei Ming is permanently marking Wang Yi as inferior, dishonorable, and entirely separate from the righteous outlaws.
So Lei Ming has exacted his brutal brand of street justice. Wang Yi is bleeding, humiliated, stripped of his wealth, and missing an ear. Total dominance has been established by our reluctant saviors.
The good guys well, the better bad guys win.
The innocent scholar, Gao, is saved from the blade. The tension should be completely gone, right? We should be wrapping up the chapter with a neat, satisfying bow.
You'd think so.
But this text doesn't do neat bows. The situation violently pivots again in the final moments of the chapter.
It sure does. Just as Lei Ming is standing there, victorious and dominant, Wang Gui, clutching his bleeding head in the mud, looks past the two outlaws. He's staring deep into the dark trees behind them, and he screams out, "Our Piaobazi is here!"
And Piaoba, that's the Jianghu slang for the absolute head of a bandit ring, right? Like the boss of bosses, the cliffhanger.
Yes. And we have to understand the economic and performative mechanics of why the author chose to end the chapter precisely here.
Oh, this is interesting.
This text, like many classic Chinese serial novels, evolved directly from the oral storytelling tradition of the urban tea houses. The storytellers needed a mechanical way to guarantee that the audience would come back the next day and pay for another pot of tea.
They needed a cliffhanger.
They relied heavily on these precise moments of reversed fortune. They build the tension to a breaking point, resolve it to give the audience a moment of catharsis, and then instantly shatter it again, leaving the audience literally hanging on the edge of their seats.